I regret making compromises that at the time I knew were compromises, but I rationalized them to myself. Spending time with people I shouldn't have been spending time with, or maybe not making the hard decision because the easier decision was at the time, it was going to be a kind of a softer path.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Empire Life podcast. Today, we're doing something a little bit different. We're going to have more of a conversation style. And this is my guest, Christina. Do you want to introduce yourself a little bit more?
Yes, I'm Christina. I've known Allison since we were in college, and she's been somebody who's been very inspiring and amazing in my life, and just a really good friend. And I'm so happy to be here.
And ditto. Christina has been incredible support and an amazing friend in my life as well. And we're going to dive right in. Normally we do interviews with business women, and today we're going to do more of a conversation style. So we're going to be diving into all kinds of different questions of probably things that you haven't heard from me before. And I'm sure from Christina too, maybe things she hasn't shared. So we're going to go ahead and dive right in. And if any of these are too personal, we can just move on.
Okay. I'll let you know with the joke.
Yeah, like we don't feel comfortable to share. Oh, this is a good one. What's one secret that you've never told anyone?
Oh yeah, let's just start off real subtle. Work into the deep stuff. A secret that I've never told anybody.
Or maybe not many people. Maybe
Yeah.
I told a few people.
Do you have a secret that you've never told anybody?
Trying to think. The
Right?
first one that comes to mind that I haven't told many people is one time I was kayaking with an ex-boyfriend, and I just started taking these new probiotics. And I had to jump out of the kayak to go to the bathroom in the lake.
Oh wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, luckily I wasn't embarrassed because we had been together for a little while, but he had to row away because it smelled so bad. He was shouting, "That stinks so bad." I was like, "Shh, there's people around. Don't tell anybody." Allison, it was so embarrassing.
I feel like I'm learning so much about you in a public format. Oh gosh, I don't even know if I have anything like that. Oh, I have basically in a small car in before college, so like still high school, right out of high school, and nobody could figure out who dealt it, and I was not about to fess up, so they still to this day do not know
Really?
who dealt it.
Were you in the car?
No, I was on top of it, so
Oh.
so obviously it wasn't me.
Oh my God, that's funny. And there's another one that I could think of in college. I was in the dorm, and you probably do know this story. Maybe I don't know if you remember or not. And
I'll tell you if I did.
I turned on some popcorn in the microwave, and it was like a community kitchen.
Yes.
So it was shared in that time.
Yeah.
And I left the popcorn and I put it on what it said on the instructions on the bag.
Yeah.
And then I go back to my room, and all of a sudden, I don't know when it was, like maybe 4 minutes later, everybody was evacuating the building. So I thought we were having like a fire alarm
Drill.
a drill. And then I go downstairs, and some people are like have a towel around their heads. Some people just got out of the shower.
Wow.
And then the hallway, what were they called? Residents? The resident assistant or RA was like, "Oh my God, somebody almost caught the building on fire with popcorn."
Wow.
I didn't say anything.
That's a good one.
I didn't say anything.
That's a good one.
I told her later, and she's like, "Can you please clean the microwave?" And I was like, "Okay, sure, I'll do that."
Wow.
Well, it was because of me.
Okay, I do have a good one, and I didn't think about it because there was witnesses, so I didn't really ever have to tell the story. But when I was in college, we went to the same college. I had a roommate, Indira, and the way they did it is it's one apartment with a shared living room and a shared kitchen, and then 2 bedrooms. And in the 2 bedrooms was 2 roommates that shared a room. So there's 2 roommates for this room and 2 roommates for this other room. And one of our roommates had recently left. Um, and so so it was me and my roommate in one room, and there's a room that's empty. And so we picked the lock, and I lived in that dorm room for most of the year.
That's a good idea.
Yeah, and then my roommate got drunk, told the resident assistants, the RA, and then like a day later they had a fire drill, and I was like, "There's a fire drill tomorrow. I should probably move my stuff out back into my room in case they discover that I'm in the other room." And she's like, "No, he's my friend. We went out together. He won't tell anybody." And I was like, "Okay." And so I didn't move my stuff. We had the fire drill, and they literally had the fire drill so they could confirm
Oh my God.
that they had cause to go into the room.
Wow.
And then they realized, yeah, I was in there illegally. So I should have been charged a different price. But then we went and talked to the guy, and he was really cool about it. I was like, "I'm sorry, the room was empty, you know." And he's like, "All right, don't let it happen again." And then I was like, "Okay, I won't." And we didn't. I did honor that. But yeah, I got a good deal on room and board that year.
And this is ladies in scarves. We have
Oh yeah,
matching scarves.
Yeah, this was a gift from Allison. I was like, I gotta wear it.
What do you feel like your biggest regret in life is?
Yeah, I've thought about that. My biggest regret in life is not being kinder to my sister when we were teenagers. I had an older sister and a younger sister. I have an older sister and a younger sister. Me and my younger sister used to call my older sister the mean sister because she was the sister in high school. She was beautiful and popular, and she had all the cool clothes, and we just were not as cool or popular as her. And then I had my younger sister. My younger sister is really smart, really, really smart. And my senior year of her junior year, we had the same algebra class together. And I walked in, realized that we were in the same class, and the thought, sit with her, hang out with your sister in class, and you'd probably get an A because she's really smart. And I didn't. I don't know why. I was like, oh, I got to be cool and not, sit next to my sister and be the cool older sister. So I sat next to a friend of mine who's really, really funny and made me laugh. And I failed the class. My sister passed it. But I was like, I wish I was kinder to my younger sister and spent more time cultivating a friendship and a wholesome sisterly relationship. Now we're really close. Actually, all three of us are really close now that we're older, but yeah, I wish I was nicer to her. So yeah, maybe, I don't know if that's my biggest regret, but that is a genuinely
regret. Yeah, large one.
Yeah.
I think for me, it's not valuing myself enough. Like not understanding. Like I look back, and maybe you feel like that too. I feel like I look back on situations that I was in, and why didn't I love myself more?
Well,
why didn't I know just how great I was or how beautiful I was in that moment? I understand I didn't really have many people telling me that, but I think it took time to develop an internal sense of that.
Wow.
Internal sense of value. Not necessarily you have to hear that from the outside world.
Yeah.
But if I could go back and tell the person in that story or tell the version of myself in that time, why? No, you can do this or leave this situation or you can do better. You can choose better. It's okay. There's better out there for you.
That's a good one.
Like the self-value or self-love.
Yeah. I don't know, but something similar to that is that I regret making compromises that at the time I knew were compromises, but I rationalized them to myself. Spending time with people I shouldn't have been spending time with, or maybe not making the hard decision because the easier decision was at the time, it was going to be a kind of a softer path. But I should have made I should have done the harder thing at that time. But knowing, this is probably the right decision, but I don't want to do it. So, taking kind
avoiding it.
But yeah, and then coming into issues I knew would arise by taking the softer way and then not being strong enough to get, but you get older and you're like, I'm done compromising. I'm going to do the hard thing. I've done the easy thing. It didn't work. I got nothing out of it. I wasted a lot of time. And now I'm just not going to compromise. I'm going to do the harder thing.
or this is the one that I wanted to ask. It's not on here. I thought about,
Mm-hmm.
and we can do it for Jackie too. She's here. But like, what is one word if you had to describe me in, or maybe 2 or 3 words, if you would describe me in one word and Jackie in 1 to 3 words?
Okay. Yeah.
And we could do it for all of us, if you want.
Yeah, definitely persistent. I don't enduring, maybe enduring, like very durable. You seem to, like you say, you've started a few businesses. You've raised a beautiful child as a single mother, and you just have this, it's kind of like a toughness to you, but it's not tough. It's more like, no, this is the way it is. And it's freaking hard. And sometimes I cry about it, but I know that this is the best decision. Like, I mean, I use your daughter as an example because I know it's hard to be um, consistently a good parent making tough decisions. And you can't make somebody do something, but when you're a parent, the struggle is to help your child make good choices. And that comes with building a foundation of something to draw upon. And you built a really good foundation for her. And I think that was really hard at a time for you that you were struggling and figuring out what you wanted to do and building your own business and figuring out who you are and deciding not to compromise. So maybe durable? I don't know. I think that's a good one for you. Durable. And you, the quarter, try not to. Like if you're of both of us together. Yes, you have a softness, femininity too.
Oh,
To this, yeah. So it's like your love and discipline are very equally balanced in your relationship with your child, and more with your relationship with yourself. You have a certain expectation of yourself, but you're also very kind to yourself and take breaks and do little mini retreats.
I'm learning.
Yeah. You have a really good balance for that.
Thanks.
I admire that, actually.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you're good at that too.
And now, if you have,
Yeah, taking breaks or knowing when you need to maybe go sleep early or.
yeah, I do think I have a good balance. Thank you, Allison. Yeah, I will take that.
What about for Jackie?
For Jackie, she's one of the funniest people I've ever met, which is amazing. And the level of wisdom that falls out of her mouth when she's also kind of a jackass is amazing. She's funny, she's crazy, and yeah,
I think it's underestimated how intelligent you are. Because you're so funny, and like sometimes people are like, "Oh, I don't know," like then you say something, and it's like, "Yeah, she knows what's going on. She's like super."
Yeah,
she's so intelligent.
Yeah, and she has an intuitive wisdom, social. I don't know. There's a word for this, but socially intuitive, and she keys into people, and she's like, she kind of gets a really, really good grasp with people, almost right away. I mean, you don't have to say very much before she's like, "I think I know what you're about," and I either like it or I don't. Yeah. What about me?
Well, I think you're very outright feminine. Like you're super feminine, and definitely it's inspiring. I think you're really great at receiving, like letting someone kind of like holding space for somebody to take care of you in the way that you need. Yeah, and you're really great at communicating that to I feel like to Tony or to the people that you've been with in the past. I think that's admirable and something that comes naturally to you. And it's something that a lot of women could learn from. Yes, I think it can, especially now with what we're told of how we can. I do believe that women are strong, but I also believe that it is strong to be able to hold space for someone else to be able to take care, to receive. Yeah, I think is a better word. Yeah. And I think you're great with Mateo and very nurturing with them.
Mateo's my son.
Yeah.
He's 4. Yeah, I want another one. I love being a boy mom.
Yeah, I don't know what that.
Yeah, I love it. And it's just that I'm good with that. I like that. I know he's going to grow up and be an amazing man. That's kind of what
It's not
wonderful. Yeah, just I don't know why. Yeah. And maybe the feminine mom is the good thing to have for a boy, And of course, he needs a masculine father. But yeah, I just feel very, very grateful that that is what I've ended up with. Blessed that that's what I have.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel very blessed too,
Yeah.
being a mom.
Yeah.
Well, what about you, Jackie? What would you say is a word? You have to talk. You just say one word and then will you say it quietly?
Um, for you, it's strong.
Oh.
Yeah. And independent. And strong, strength from your independence. Kind of a badass.
Oh.
Right? You're like kind of like everything that I think of when I think of girl power.
Yeah.
And just kind of I think of you and I think turkey, I think independent, I think super mom, I think badass. Like it I don't know, you're just so resilient.
Not Thanksgiving turkey, Turkey the country.
I'm not a turkey. That's
Wait, what? Oh, yeah, okay. I think turkey. I think stuffing.
so what about Christina? Are we could just talk about me?
I mean, don't stop.
Oh, it's so fun. Where are we talking about Christina?
Sure.
Yeah.
Wait, what's up? Yeah.
No, it's just I was thinking about the anecdote downstairs about the sushi. That was just the first example of like this girl could do it all. Like I don't know. But with Christina, I don't know. She feels like home.
Oh no,
It's true.
that's so sweet.
It's true.
You're like home and a human to me.
Oh,
You're all these things I didn't know I needed in a friend. Well, I had a little sister and your family. It's so important to feel understood. You have the ability to do that.
wow.
With everyone, you can connect. Man, it's such a good
Like to be seen.
to be seen.
Yeah.
You respect people. You understand. Yeah. Yeah, and it's such a nice thing. But yeah,
Thanks.
I agree.
Oh, yeah.
Ditto.
right.
All of the above.
Right. And you're funny. You're super
Yeah,
funny.
you're funny. Not everybody gets to see that side of you.
No.
That's saying
Yeah.
you're very funny because you're very engaging with you're not always sometimes you're like letting the other person talk or like getting to know them and they're feeling understood, but sometimes they don't see that side of you, right?
Yeah, you make me laugh, cry,
Yeah.
snoring. Thank you. Yeah.
What is your biggest fear?
To be a burden, to grow old and be a burden to my family and not be able to hold my own or hold my bladder or
That might be happening to all of us. I was gonna find some organic cotton diapers,
yeah. Okay. Oh, that's true. Yeah, but I got to be able to put them on myself is the thing. I want
Yeah,
to
right.
put 'em on.
Yeah, it's a good point.
Yeah. I think that's always kind of been
Mhm.
the thing. I don't know why. I've always thought about, one day we're going to be old and what is that going to look like? And
Yeah.
I had a really good example of what that could look like. And I hope that it looks like, seeing my grandmother on my father's side just grow old so lovely, so gracefully, and surrounded by people, family that adored and loved her, me being one of those people, and just kind of aspiring to that, to grow old with grace and be surrounded by people who love you and want to be near you and take care of you, but still not wanting to be a burden to them.
That's a good point. Like, I really want to build a legacy, and I think that's one of my biggest fears, that I don't reach all my potential. I think that drives me really hard every day. Like,
Wow.
I need to make this amount of money, or I need to have, leave kids with this amount. And
Oh, really? That's hard. That's a hard thing to feel. That's a hard thing to obligate yourself to. I must achieve this level of legacy. I feel like men maybe have more of that, so it's incredible. Well, I guess if you're an entrepreneur, you probably
yeah. I
Yeah,
feel
some of
like
that.
Will and I both can be together in that.
You share that.
Yeah, we share it so we can make a path or see other paths and continue to move forward together.
Yeah, that's good.
So I don't feel alone in that.
Yeah.
I think sometimes I felt like I'm the only one that feels like this, and my family, or I'm the only one that, if this is really important too. So maybe there's a disconnect sometimes with other people.
Yeah, I see that. I can understand it. I intellectually understand you drive. And I do see that in you. I don't, my legacy is the healthy people I leave behind or form, right? That's my legacy. It's going to be my legacy.
I do feel that too.
Yeah.
I want them to never have to worry.
Yeah.
Like I'd have to worry, struggle.
Yeah.
I think that's really important to me.
Yeah.
They have an easier path. Well, not a path where they don't appreciate it, right? But like, they understand how to appreciate it, and they give thanks for it, so that I can give them an easier path, of less worries. Or like, my grandkids will, not have the same worries that I did.
Yeah, I could see that.
That's important.
Yeah,
and I guess that is a fear to not give them that because of how important it is.
Not give them a future without a sense of they have within themselves a confidence that they will be able to achieve in life or do well in life.
Is that like give them properties or things that they can, assets that they can sell if they need, or they can manage those, or they will be able to have a lot of ways to make a lot of money.
Yeah, you don't want them to feel destitute. Yeah, like I have no skill, I have nothing to my name, and life is really, really hard.
Yeah, or that they have to rely on unreliable people, or be in dangerous situations, maybe, or like they will be put into different rungs of society.
Yeah.
Now, I slipped in my kitchen one time when I was by myself, when I lived by myself, and Lily was at her grandparents' house. My rib went out of place, and I couldn't get up for a while.
Yeah,
and I was holding 2 plates of food, and I didn't realize something had spilled on the floor. So I just slipped, and like the food somehow landed still in my hand.
Oh my gosh!
But I landed like on my back, and my rib like pushed forward. And I was like, I can't breathe, I can't breathe, I can't breathe.
Did you have to pop back in place?
Yeah. Wow. I put the stuff down, and I was like pushing my ribs back in. I don't know if it was more than one. And then I was like, I could have just died. Oh my God. No one was here.
The bigger question is, what were you doing with 2 plates of food if you were by yourself?
I know. That's true.
I was like, wait a minute.
Some sides and the main portion. And then I had to waste that. I was like, I have to keep this in my hand. Even if I die, I worked too hard for this.
Wow. No, that's scary.
Yeah, it was scary.
I
don't want to live by myself anymore.
I do this thing where like I'll move a piece of furniture by myself because I want it done. I gotta do it. And I'll be like, oh, maybe I shouldn't have done that. And when I was younger, I could get away with it, but now I feel like, don't be dumb. Use a towel, pull it. Find another way. But I have had moments where I've surprised myself how strong I can be when I really want a hutch across the living room.
Yes. Wow.
Damn.
I'm not that brave. Like I don't want to be in bed for 6 weeks if something happened.
Yeah. That hasn't happened, but I probably almost did that to myself.
Wow.
And then I'm like, it's done. I did it.
I'm strong. You got this.
I don't know about that, but
yeah, it takes a lot of strength in furniture.
Yeah, it does.
This is a good question. Okay. Maybe it's personal. Like your marriage now.
Yeah.
How do you want it to be different than your parents' marriage?
My parents were poor.
Mine too.
My parents have a beautiful marriage. How do I?
They really do.
How? I would like it to be. I mean, they just the mutual respect and love joy. They get each other's humor. They no, it's beautiful. They're beautiful. I remember being upset with my mom because the reason I haven't gotten married, because I got married later, was like, if you guys hadn't been such an amazing example of what marriage could be, I probably would have settled by now and have a husband. But no, they're just beautiful, lovely. I can't imagine my father without my mother, and I can't imagine my mother without my father, and I can't imagine them being happy without each other. So, it's a win-win for everybody. So how would I want my parents to be different? How would I want my marriage to be different from my parents?
Sounds like you really love what they create.
Oh, they've got something amazing. Maybe just toss in a little bit of money in there and their magic. The magic is all there. They'll have it all. But my dad always said, I'm rich in everything but money. And as a child, I knew that was true. I always knew that was true. They do, I don't know.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's nice.
I think for me, it's the constant tension. There's a lot.
And you feel that. Everybody feels that.
Everybody feels that. It's almost as if you can cut it with a knife.
Yes.
And I think, and I definitely didn't want that, but I think in my first two marriages, I definitely replicated that. Where there was a lot of tension, and I just thought that was a normal thing. And I don't feel like that in my marriage now.
Yeah.
So,
oh, good.
I'm really thankful for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I love Will for you.
Oh.
Yeah, you guys are so good together.
Yeah. There's a lot of peace and tranquility.
God bless.
Yeah. God bless. If there's something that comes up, then we just talk it through. Even if it's uncomfortable, it might be like, I'm really upset by this, or I'm angry, or I'm hurt that you said that, or I don't want to talk about this. But it's like we try to stay in it and talk through it.
Yeah.
So then it doesn't fester and continue to cause issues or build tension. And I think another thing is like pressing each other's buttons. And that's something I definitely saw in my parents' relationship and they both do it. So it's not like, oh, he's doing that to me, or she always does that to me. It's like kind of a build up where they know each other so well, and they almost get energy out of that.
Yeah.
Like some kind of rise out of it.
Yeah.
And I think it's more important to listen to your partner. If they say that something that bothers me, then I make a big effort to not do it again.
Yeah.
It may be hard for me.
Yes.
I might be like, oh, I did it again. I didn't mean to.
Right.
Whoops, or
yeah. I can relate to that. I can relate to that.
And Will does that too. But like, I really tried because I don't like it if he slams the door.
Yep.
Because it's very triggering for me. And it reminds me that maybe somebody's mad.
Yeah.
And then I think, oh, who's mad? Yeah. Because I need to figure that out.
What's going on?
What's going on?
Why are you banging stuff?
Yeah, why are you banging stuff? It's very alarming. And so he makes a big effort to not do that. And then sometimes he might, and it's like, oh, I didn't mean to, it slipped, or I'll do it more soft next time.
Yeah. Tony says always slam the car door too hard.
Yeah.
And
it's kind of triggering for him.
Well, it's like you don't need to slam it. I'm like, I know I don't need to slam it, but I grew up with big, heavy, clunky, old, cheap
I did too.
cars, and the door would not shut unless you literally slammed it shut.
Sure.
And so I told him, like, that's my default. That's my, without thinking, slam it shut. And so I'm trying to get better at that. And
because you want to make sure it's closed.
I want to make sure it's closed, and I don't think about it, and I slam it. And it's just like, can you not do that? I'm like, I could try.
Because it's kind of like, whoa, it like, right?
Yeah.
It kind of shakes the whole car.
And and sometimes the baby falls asleep in the car, and he's like, close it gentle.
Or like if he's in the car and you get out before him, it's kind of moves the whole, because Will does that too. And he's
is that his pet peeve for you? Do you have a pet peeve that he does?
I think that's one of my pet peeves. I say like slammy. Like a slamming thing.
Yeah, okay.
But he's not trying to.
Yeah.
He'll be like, I was trying to make sure the door was closed.
Yes.
Like, okay, but like, you could do it a little softer.
Yeah.
But he has really strong hands, so he's just very strong.
Yeah.
So he doesn't realize that he's doing it so hard.
That's a nice thing.
Yeah, it's a good thing. Yeah. It's a good thing. And he has to make an extra effort to not do it really hard or be slammy.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know if he has a pet peeve for me. I'm trying to think.
Maybe he just hasn't told you. His pet peeve for you is stop telling me to slam the door.
We can really laugh about it, but I think probably one of his is that there's some things that he said I'm like steel on.
Yeah.
So he might ask me and want to have a conversation, and I'm like, no, this is what I think about it.
Yeah.
But then there's other things, and I'm like, yeah, I'm really flexible on that. Like that's not as important to me.
Mm-hmm. And that's kind of you being a stronger woman and knowing what you want, and that kind of comes with that.
And he thinks it's endearing. That's what he told me.
Oh, okay.
But I think we can laugh about it because there's some situation where he said, well, what about this? I'm like, no. No.
Here's my line.
Yeah, we're talking about this right now. And you're like, well, I had this other idea. I'm like, I want to stay on topic.
Yeah.
We have to solve this thing right here, and then we can move on. He's like, wow, I really feel like you're kind of shutting me down right now. And, well, we got to stay on topic. We got to solve this here, and then we can't diverge.
Yeah.
Like, well, why are you, he said it's like hitting a steel, or like a concrete wall.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, we can laugh about it.
Yeah.
Like,
it's great.
I think he's learned how to navigate those kind of conversations. Like, I'm not trying to be mean.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not trying to shut him down. I do want to hear what he has to say. Sometimes I want to solve something first.
Yeah.
Or like specifically talk about that topic.
Yeah.
And then we can move on.
Yeah. How does humor play a role in your marriage?
I mean, I think even in those moments later, we can laugh about it.
Okay.
But I think I tend to joke about a lot of things, even if it's really hard things.
Yeah.
I tend to, because of going through so many hard things, and I think I'm like, it's not that bad. Like,
yeah.
And I can kind of it's easy for me to find the light in it.
Yeah.
Like the lightness.
Mm-hmm.
And he sometimes is like, I'm not ready for that.
Yeah.
This is too intense. I'm like, I've seen more. But like, it's okay.
I get that. You kind of break a little bit of the tension with humor.
Yeah.
And he's kind of not maybe used to
like,
that.
Too soon.
Yeah.
Too soon. Or he might think I'm making fun of him.
Yeah.
And I'm not at all. I'm like, and then Lily's laughing.
Yeah. He's like, everybody's laughing at me and I'm upset.
Yeah. Then it makes us think it's even more funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't get it.
He's getting to understand
the
level of humor. He didn't really grow up with that.
Yeah.
He's learning that it's like, it's not personal to you. Like, I can joke about myself. Like, I can take a joke too, even if it's very intense.
Yeah.
I might be able to still think it's funny.
Yeah.
Or like to find the lightness in it.
Mm-hmm.
He's still. Sometimes I joke though. I'm like, is that too soon? And that,
and he's like, yeah.
He's like, God, that just happened like an hour ago. I'm not ready.
I process them.
Yeah,
and
process.
Tony does that. Because I think humor does kind of break the tension when it's a kind of an intense conversation, and then you throw a little bit of humor in there, and it's like, all right, maybe we need to cool down a little. But Tony is very similar, kind of like, what, are you making fun of me? I'm like, no, I'm trying to kind of lighten it up. I think I'm hilarious. I'm
sure that's why.
But he's upset I'm not.
When Mateo's a little older, he can laugh.
Yeah, I think me and Mateo are probably going to be doing more of the joking and laughing and cracking up and being a little breezy.
Because, I mean, at the end of the day, those are the moments that we're going to treasure, the times that we laughed, the times that we were able to find the humor or the lightness in it. Yeah. Because it's probably not that serious.
Yeah, probably not. That's true.
At the end of it all.
Yeah.
Well, something came up that we're changing in our marriage, like the way that we were raised with food.
Oh.
So, like, I was raised more in a more diet mentality, or like, you don't eat. Diet? Yeah, like you don't eat fats, you don't eat.
Oh, yeah. Everything's coming back. Fat's coming back.
Yeah. And he was raised more so like, we're not going to make enough food for everybody. Like, you should take really small portions. And so we're kind of changing that.
Taking smaller portions as in there won't be.
Like, you shouldn't eat that much.
Oh.
Yeah. Like, there's no leftovers. Maybe everybody gets a really small portion. So we're kind of changing the game, I guess, I already was doing that. I didn't want to continue that with Lily, especially being a girl.
Overeating or overcooking?
Well, just eating healthy, like eating as much as you want. Not like worried that, I can't eat, I need to like restrict, or I need to eat a lot because I don't know when I'm going to get food again, or, like having a more, I guess, really healthy mindset around food.
Yeah.
And eating as much as she feels full, but not necessarily like not worried about, am I going to get enough to eat, or when am I going to eat again, or anything like that.
Yeah, okay, that's interesting.
But not necessarily worried about counting, like how much she's eating.
Right. If it's healthy, just go ahead and eat until you're satisfied. That's kind of the idea. Tony does the cooking in our. I thought I was going to be doing the cooking, but Tony does a lot of the cooking. It's kind of rare. I know how to cook. I grew up cooking, but Tony does all the cooking, and he makes really good Peruvian food. And it's healthy. I don't know. She does a pretty good job. I can't complain. I didn't know that was part of the package, but it's kind of a nice.
Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, it's great.
I don't really enjoy doing dishes.
Me neither.
Kitchen, but Will does.
Well, Tony
does all the cleaning,
and Tony does a lot of the cleaning, and he kind of. I mean, I try to do it too, but he's really easy. He's really easy. He doesn't mind doing the dishes. And I do love that, but I know that I should probably be doing more of it. But he just is like so okay doing it. I'm like, and I don't want to do it. I'm like, if it won't upset you, do you mind doing it? If it will, I will do it. And I try sometimes. Not that I'm looking for that point of I'm frustrated doing it. I try to not ever get to that. But he's never resented me or held it against me or waved it over my head. And I really like that about him. It's a good trait, but I also know,
I love that too.
I also know that I need to don't take that for granted. And though I'm not doing this, maybe I can do more of that, or maybe I can do that even if I don't want to, as an act of love.
I do love in my marriage that if I wasn't feeling great or he wasn't feeling great, we just do it. It's not like that like it was your night to cook.
No, right.
There's never any of that.
No,
like,
thank God.
Cook and I want to clean, or if you're not feeling great, I'm gonna do a load of dishes. Like, and I'm not bringing it up.
Right? Yeah, it's not a big deal. It got done. I need to get to that. It's not you, me, this and that. One for me, one for you. Like I take the trash out. So he tends to do the dishes more than I do the dishes, and I tend to take the trash out more than he takes the trash out. And it's like, doesn't seem like it would fit, but that's kind of, it works.
Yeah, it works out.
I don't mind doing that. I'd rather take the trash out than scrub plates. I will scrub plates though.
So we're going to do 2 more.
Okay.
So the next one is, what is one of your favorite memories from high school?
One of my favorite memories is having really good group of girls that we were friends with, that I played sports with. I played sports, and then some of them are still, they're lifelong friends. So sport competitions, going and playing soccer games, going out of town playing soccer games, playing volleyball, going out of town playing volleyball. And groups of girls that
tournaments.
Tournaments were always really fun. And having friendship. Having meaningful, rewarding friendships that we shared common interests with, and I think maybe that.
What about you? In a way, I look back and I didn't have the best, and I had some highlights in high school, but I think that my parents didn't intervene a lot. There's pros and cons about that. Some of the pros is that I learned how to be really self-reliant. And I learned that no one was going to come save me. So I have to figure it out for myself, or I have to like pull myself back up. And I have to like, one of the examples, I was wanting to start on the basketball team, but the coach told me she wasn't sure between me and somebody else. And I thought, well, I have to really work hard every time she does play me. I have to score as much as I can. I have to really
prove to her.
Hustle and prove myself, I guess, to be starting. And I think my parents could have maybe put me in maybe a smaller school, for example, where I didn't have to maybe work that hard to be successful there. But I think being in the bigger school or having those experiences showed me, like, if you're persistent, like, you can do it, or you can achieve that.
Yeah. Yeah. That's interesting.
So, like, learning that, I think.
Yeah. Realizing that about yourself.
Yeah.
That you could be independent and that you could, you had to, but you also developed the ability to make good decisions for yourself. And
that's true. Yeah. Yeah. How to be self-reliant.
Yeah.
So, like, if I wanted my driver's license, I needed to buy the online course myself and you studying the material.
Yeah. Yeah. You had to initiate a lot of the things that maybe other kids have parents guide them through. You just had to initiate and then get stuff done for yourself.
Yeah. And it wasn't going to happen.
Yeah. That, I think that probably does do well to form someone with an entrepreneurial mindset, actually.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. So that maybe benefited you in a way you didn't realize.
I always think, like, you can't beat a person who doesn't give up.
Yeah.
Like, somebody can take a break, but if they just keep coming back and doing their best, they're going to achieve eventually what they want. So I think
that's true. Keep
their
their
outlet skills.
Yeah, that's a good point. That's true. I mean, for me, it really has to be worth it. If I'm not going to give up on this thing and I'm going to decide to give really all that I am, I have to really, 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 and there are a few things in my life that are that required tuning. Very few. But the things that are family, my faith, my child, my children. Yeah, I can see that. I can see also applying that to my career, but I just never had a desire to. I don't know. I'm not an entrepreneur. I think I have I shouldn't say that.
You have the ability. If you felt like it was important.
I think I had the ability that if I don't want it, it's hard to make myself, right? And you do things that you don't want to make yourself do, but you see there's an end to it, right? And so you
like an outcome.
Yeah, you kind of sludge through it, I guess. And I can do that, right?
Yeah,
I can do that, but I really got to pick when I want to be able to put my.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
So the last one is, what is your favorite childhood memory?
My favorite, it's very specific, actually. I mean, I have a few really good. One is going to my grandparents' house every Sunday after church and spending the day with them and my huge, gigantic family that would also go visit them. And we would go to church, and then I would go to my grandparents' house, and my cousins would be there. Maybe some aunts and uncles would be there. And everybody would be playing games, outside enjoying the outside, playing outside, sitting outside, drinking tea outside, and just having a day of family and love and just constant ability.
Oh, was every Sunday?
Every Sunday. I love it. Wow. Beautiful. Yeah. Really nice way to grow up. I loved visiting their houses. My grandparents' house was a treat. And then later, when we moved into the same neighborhood, their house was on the way home from high school, and I would stop every day at my grandparents' house to visit them for a little bit before I went home. And I looked forward to it. And there were times in high school where things were difficult or things were not going well, or I was maybe a little down about something. And I would stop at their home. I never had to tell them anything. I could just sit and be with them. And I always felt better. Just spending time with them, I felt better. It didn't matter what was bothering me or how depressed or how anxious or whatever issues. I always felt better just spending some time with them.
I bet Mateo feels like that.
I hope so. Oh gosh, he loves his grandma. Yeah, we love her.
Oh, what about you? I think, well, it's applicable to my life now. The first one that I thought about was my best friend across the street. And so maybe she's watching this. Nicole, we're still friends. She said, hey, let's get together all the girls in the few streets around us and that are around our age, like all ages of the girls from, let's say, like elementary mostly. And let's start kind of like a girls club. And then we'll do little things to make money, like a lemonade stand or a puppet show or put on a play or anything like that. And I said, yeah, let's do it. That's the best idea. I love it. And so we went to every door for a few blocks, and then we got about 15 little girls together in my driveway.
Uh-huh.
And we were all sitting there, and they were like, oh, okay, what are we going to do? Like, these are the rules. Somehow I like made up the bylaws or, rules for the group. It's like, you have to come to every meeting, and it's at this time, and it's going to be every Thursday.
Oh, so you.
Yeah, like if you're not here, you don't get another chance. You're just not in the group anymore.
There are certain expectations.
Yeah, to show
this group.
Yeah, you have to show that it's important to you. They're like, yes, we will be here. Like, raise your hand. You'll be here every Thursday at 5. Do not be late. Like, yes.
And you had a group?
And we had the group, but in that meeting, in the first meeting, they were like, well, somebody has to be the president. We have to figure that out. And I said, well, it needs to be my friend because it was her idea.
Mm.
And so she said, does everybody want me to be the president?
Yeah.
And a lot of the girls said they wanted me to be the president.
Oh.
And I said, no, it can't. It wasn't my idea.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the one talking.
Yeah.
Because I was more extroverted than her.
Yeah.
Nicole. And they're like, you're leading this, like, it has to be you. And Nicole's like, okay, fine. Okay, like, it's okay. It's okay. Because I kept saying, like, deflecting.
Yeah.
Because I didn't want her to feel upset.
Yeah.
She's my best friend or hurt because I wanted her to have all the credit.
Yeah.
And be in the spotlight.
Right.
And she was like, no, it's okay. Like, they are voting for you. Mm-hmm. And then I walked away being the president of the girls club of the neighborhood. Yeah. And then we had like puppet shows, and I organized most of them. And we charged like $2 or something.
Yeah, people would come in.
Yeah. We would knock on everybody's door and trying to get people to come.
That's awesome.
Lemonade stand or the puppet show.
How long did you have that?
For a few years.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
We would make cupcakes and then walk around the neighborhood and sell them for $0.25, but that's about the extent of the and Rice Krispie treats. And people would buy it and they're like, hold on, let me go get my change from the in-between. We'd go through the whole neighborhood do that.
We set up some tables for lemonade, and I had this idea one of the times. It's also a really funny story that I've told on other podcasts, that I would go through my house and be like, nobody's used this all week. Gather,
going to the garage there.
Like gather like 15 things,
Yeah.
And I did this for weeks, and I would make so much money. Be like, what will you give me for this? No, I don't have change. It's $20.
Where would you sell it?
By the lemonade.
Oh, so like there's still lemonade. You're just selling your houseware.
Yeah, I was selling lemonade too.
Your mom's houseware.
I was selling lemonade too.
Oh, okay. But you're like, and the glass and extra dollar.
Upcharge. Yeah. But they'd be like, oh, what's this other stuff over here? I'm like, oh, we have a radio. And yeah. My mom found out about it. And like, things, what are you doing? I bet. She's like, oh, come on, we got this a good one.
My gosh,
I can upcharge this like $30. She was like, you can't just take stuff from the house and sell it. I'm like, why not? We're not using it.
Yeah, that's a good.
We can make more money selling this than even pay for it.
Didn't know that. We didn't even have to advertise.
Yeah. What about you, Jackie? Do you have like a favorite childhood memory?
I didn't know that umbrella. Well, my dad was trying to open an umbrella. I live in a very busy street in Mexico, and it was really neat. He couldn't get it going, and he pressed it and went.
It flew.
Yeah, it flew, and it's like it's funny because it's like
out of a cartoon.
It was like out of a cartoon. I really like this is the first thought that comes to my brain right now. Like it's like I'm sorry if you're like on the spot.
Yeah,
that's true.
Yeah,
I used to think that if I ran fast enough, I could fly like Mary Poppins,
right?
Like, the umbrella.
Yeah, yeah, I could see that.
Yeah, when I was really little. Did you watch that movie?
Oh yeah, I loved it.
Yeah,
Supercalifragilistic.
Yeah, I loved it.
Supercalifragilistic. Did you learn how to spell it?
I did at that point.
Yeah,
I remember that. That was a thing, right? To ask people if they could spell it.
Yeah,
that's true.
That's fun.
Yeah, another funny thing of the same lemonade stand, or a few times my mom said you have to split all the profits evenly.
Your mom said that?
Yeah.
Well, she wasn't in the girls group. How she's making up rules?
I know, that's what I was thinking. I'm like, Mom, I got this. Okay?
There's rules, man.
I got this. Okay, I'm the president right now.
So my husband.
But I told her, depending on what somebody's doing,
Yeah.
then they will get like paid their cut.
Yeah.
It's like if I organize this,
Yeah.
I think I should get a little bit more of a cut. She's like, that's not how the world works.
Actually, that is
I'm like, I don't know, Mom. Feel like
You're like,
I'm 7, but I don't know that you're right.
Mom, you need to sign up for my master course.
My mastermind in 30 years.
Yes. Yeah.
30 years from now.
I'll explain it all then. Hey.
Yeah, because it is, like you said, it's a lot about your input into something or your knowledge. It's not, I guess it's more of a socialistic maybe way to look at it. Like everybody gets their fair, everybody gets
quality
their
outcomes versus
no matter what you do.
Yeah.
And that's more where she was coming from.
Yeah.
Like because they showed up, because they're human, they deserve this amount. And I was pretty livid. Like, that's not what I'm doing. Yeah. You need to leave my lemonade stand.
There are rules and regulations.
My mom my mom has a liquor store.
Yeah.
When I was little, I put up a tip jar.
You did?
Smart.
Yes. And then I went back and I took it home and she was like, what are you doing?
Wow. The people put tips in?
Well, the employees were super mad because they thought I did it for them. And I was like,
oh,
I was, yeah. She's like, she had some, each of them like a 50. I don't know.
50 pesos.
Wow.
No, because obviously it was a lot more than what was in the jar, but they were mad because I went in and I was like, oh, cool, there's money. And I just like,
yes, wow.
They were pissed. They waited a few days. One of them told her, yeah, it was wrong. My daughter did what?
How old were you?
I was a dumb kid. I don't know, not so dumb.
One summer in college, I was working at an Asian restaurant, Fireball.
Oh, yeah, I remember that place.
Yeah. Do you remember the summer I worked there?
Maybe.
Yeah. And I had to wear all black, but they had like the community tip jar.
Yes.
And so sometimes if I did something extra for somebody and they're like, hey, I want to tip you, they're like, you got to hand it to me under the table.
Yes. Yeah. Not everybody gets it.
Yeah. So we're like, oh, yeah, sure. I get that.
That's nice.
Yeah, that was nice. Like, don't leave it on the table. Don't put it in the community tip jar.
Yeah.
And it to me secretly, very secretly.
Well, like at H-E-B, they're not allowed to tip.
Oh, yeah.
It helps you put your groceries in.
Yeah.
I thought that was really nice.
Did you see that?
I've tried to tip a few times.
I thought
we're not allowed to.
You didn't do it.
No.
Oh, okay.
My sister worked for H-E-B. They're like, we're not allowed to take them. It's like, yeah, but it's okay. And they're like, no, really, we're not allowed. I'm like, oh, okay. I mean, that's really nice because otherwise,
That's true.
Yeah, the motivation would be different. We get paid well. Don't need them.
I know the other day they were, I forgot where I was, but they were like, here's my Venmo, you can tip me.
Wow.
And I thought, I scanned it and then realized I wasn't signed in on my phone.
Yeah.
Then I'm like, oh, I'll do this later. And then remember.
Yeah.
So that could be complicated.
Yeah, that's true.
I guess not for everybody. If you're already signed in, you can just do it right there.
Yeah.
Instead of cash.
Cash is good.
Is there anything else you want to say?
No, it's just fun. It's my first time doing a podcast version of basically hanging out with your friends.
Yeah, that's fun. Yeah, I love it. I've been wanting to do it for a while.
Yeah.
Like conversation style.
Next time I'll have to get Jackie.
Yeah.
She probably.
Bye, everybody.